What's happening on the global stage? Today, we're diving deep into the devastating situation in Gaza, where the Israeli military has blown up residential buildings, displacing over 1 million people and causing immense casualties. We'll hear firsthand accounts of the struggle for survival and the dire warnings from Save the Children about the devastating impact on children. This is a story that demands our attention. The ripple effects of conflict are being felt worldwide. In London, nearly 900 people were arrested at a protest against the UK government's ban on Palestine action, highlighting a growing global outcry. Meanwhile, over 110,000 people marched in Brussels, demanding action and a recognition of a Palestinian state. We'll break down these massive demonstrations and what they mean for international policy. Political tensions are running high right here at home. President Trump's controversial threat to send National Guard troops and ICE agents to Chicago has sparked outrage, with the Illinois governor calling him a wannabe dictator. We'll explore the protests, the counterarguments, and the wider implications for sanctuary cities. And in Washington, D.C., thousands marched against federal troop deployment, showing a united front against escalating federal power. But it's not all conflict and controversy. Global unions, representing over 200 million workers, are urging the recognition of the State of Palestine, a powerful statement ahead of the UN General Assembly. We'll explore this significant diplomatic push and what it could mean for lasting peace. Don't miss out on these crucial updates. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Gaza's residential towers become targets as conflict intensifies. The situation in Gaza has reached a critical point as the Israeli military continues its operation, resulting in the demolition of at least 3 high-rise residential buildings in Gaza City. This aggressive expansion of operations aims to destroy the entire city and forcibly evict its population of over 1 million residents. Reports indicate that many of these demolitions are being carried out by robots equipped with explosives, a chilling testament to the advanced and impersonal nature of the destruction. Tragically, the human toll is mounting. Israel has killed 32 Palestinians today alone, with an additional 83 fatalities reported over the 24-hour period ending Sunday. Residents of Gaza are expressing profound despair, with Ibtisam Muqdad sharing a heart-wrenching account. In regard to displacement, we were displaced before to the south. There were also martyrs there and bombardment. Wherever we went, there were bombardments from one area to another, from Rafah to Khan Younis, from Khan Younis to Deir al-Balah. There were bombardments everywhere. We later came here. It is all the same. All displacement is for nothing. It is enough. Her words paint a stark picture of a population with nowhere safe to turn. Adding to the crisis, Save the Children reports a staggering statistic. Over 20,000 Palestinian children have been killed by Israeli forces in the past 23 months, averaging at least 1 child every hour. The organization issues a dire warning. If the international community does not step up, an entire generation of children in Gaza will be lost. Compounding this tragedy, another 6 Palestinians have died from famine and malnutrition, bringing the total number of starvation deaths to nearly 400, including 140 children. Meanwhile, in occupied East Jerusalem, an attack on a bus stop has left 6 people dead and up to 15 injured, with Israeli authorities attributing the act to 2 Palestinians from the West Bank, who were subsequently shot dead by police. In a separate development within Israel, the Supreme Court has ruled that the government has failed to provide adequate food for Palestinian prisoners, ordering Israel to provide them with a basic level of existence, following a petition from civil rights groups. Stay with us as we uncover the global response to this escalating crisis and what it means for international justice. Next, we're heading to London, where a protest ban has sparked mass arrests. Mass arrests in London as protests erupt over Palestine action ban. In a significant development in the UK, London police arrested nearly 900 people on Saturday during a protest against the government's decision to ban the group Palestine Action under the Terrorism Act. This ban makes it illegal for anyone in Britain to show support for the organization, a move that has been met with mounting protests for weeks. Tamara Aboud, a participant in the demonstrations, described the atmosphere and the motivations of those taking to the streets. Ordinary people who have never been on protests in their lives are, reckoning with their conscience. They're thinking, I cannot keep sitting day in, day out, and on my sofa watching this abject horror and do nothing. And so, the extraordinary thing is, the images, the most powerful images we're seeing, are of, disabled, middle-aged, elderly white people being carted off by the police for the crime of saying, "Stop killing children." Her statement highlights the deep moral convictions driving these protests. In parallel, Brussels witnessed a massive pro-Palestine rally on Sunday, with organizers reporting over 110,000 participants. This demonstration comes just days after the Belgian government announced its intention to recognize a Palestinian state and impose sanctions on Israel, signaling a significant shift in European policy. Thousands in Tunisia also gathered on Sunday to welcome boats carrying approximately 350 activists sailing to Gaza in an attempt to break the ongoing siege. Among the passengers is Mandla Mandela, the grandson of Nelson Mandela. He expressed his commitment to the cause, stating, "Coming all the way from South Africa to participate in this is really a joy to once again be able to set sail and go and break the blockade in Gaza and end the siege, which has been going on for the past 18 years. And we hope that it will be received as such, because we are a peaceful people. We pose no threat. We are carrying humanitarian aid for our brothers and sisters." These international calls for action and justice are resonating globally. But what about the political landscape at home? Up next, we examine President Trump's controversial threats targeting Chicago and the fierce backlash it's igniting. Trump's Chicago threat sparks outrage, ignites national debate. President Trump has ignited a firestorm with his recent threat to deploy National Guard troops and ICE agents to Chicago, escalating tensions and drawing sharp criticism. His social media posts, including a reference to Chicago, about to find out why it's called the Department of War, and a chilling, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning," accompanied by an AI-generated image depicting him as a military figure, have been widely condemned. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker was quick to label the president a wannabe dictator in response to these provocative statements, while President Trump later attempted to walk back his remarks, stating, "We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our cities." The initial threat had already galvanized opposition. Thousands of Chicagoans took to the streets on Saturday to protest the potential deployment of ICE agents and federal troops, expressing deep concern for their communities. Resident David Alvarez articulated the fear and impact of such actions. "National Guard and sending ICE agents here to our community is a direct threat to not only us, but our community. It is us. It is our neighbors and our friends. It affects everyone. Businesses have been dropping. Restaurants have been dropping. People have been scared." His words underscore the tangible anxiety these policies generate. Adding to the immigration crackdown, the Department of Homeland Security announced new immigration raids in the Boston area over the weekend, a move that follows repeated criticism of President Trump's policies by Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., thousands participated in the We Are All D.C. March, protesting the deployment of National Guard troops and the federal takeover of the district's police force. The Trump administration plans to extend the National Guard deployment to December. In a related action, authorities dismantled part of a peace vigil outside the White House that had been active for over 4 decades, reportedly mislabeling it as a homeless encampment. Adding to the political drama, President Trump was loudly booed at the U.S. Open men's final in New York on Sunday, a reception that led the United States Tennis Association to reportedly memo broadcasters to censor the crowd's reaction. As domestic politics heat up, a major international trade deal faces scrutiny over labor practices. Don't go anywhere. We're revealing the details of a massive ICE raid in Georgia next. Massive ICE raid at Georgia Hyundai plant sparks international outcry. South Korea has announced it is sending a charter plane to the U.S. to bring back over 300 of its citizens who were detained by ICE at a Hyundai plant in Georgia. This unprecedented enforcement operation saw ICE officials arrest nearly 500 people, the majority of whom were South Korean nationals, on Thursday at the Hyundai LG battery plant. Footage of the raid, which ICE officials are calling the largest enforcement operation in the agency's history, showed workers being shackled in handcuffs and ankle chains before being loaded onto buses. The incident carries significant diplomatic and economic weight, as South Korea's foreign minister is expected to arrive in Washington today to discuss the release of these workers. This raid comes shortly after South Korea agreed to invest $350 billion in the U.S. in exchange for lower tariffs, raising questions about the timing and nature of the operation. In other immigration news, the Trump administration is reportedly threatening to send Maryland father Kilmar Abrigo Garcia to Eswatini, formerly Swaziland, despite his expressed fear of deportation to Uganda. Garcia, who is seeking asylum, had previously made headlines in March when he was wrongfully deported to El Salvador and held in the CECOT megaprison. Further compounding the immigration landscape, a federal immigration board at the Justice Department ruled on Sunday that undocumented immigrants living in the U.S. are not eligible for bond release. This ruling means immigrants could be detained for the duration of their proceedings, which could span years. Lawyers warn this could lead to mandatory detention for millions, including long-term residents. Former immigration Judge Dana Lee Marks described it as a total cynical move to try to force people to litigate their cases while they're detained. On the international front, Russia launched its largest drone assault against Ukraine since 2022, targeting the main government building in Kyiv and resulting in at least 4 deaths, including a mother and her baby. Ukraine also conducted airstrikes into Russia, killing 3 people. President Trump commented on the situation, stating he was ready to impose a second round of sanctions against Russia, though he provided no further details. The U.S. military presence is also escalating in Latin America, with the Trump administration ordering the deployment of 10 F-35 fighter jets to Puerto Rico amidst threats of further strikes under the guise of the war on drugs. This follows a recent U.S. bombing of a boat off the coast of Venezuela that killed 11 people. Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro has warned the U.S. against further military action, urging respect for sovereignty. Vice President J.D. Vance's dismissive response to accusations of a potential war crime regarding the boat attack drew criticism from Senator Rand Paul. In a classified operation revealed by the New York Times, U.S. Navy SEALs participated in a failed top-secret mission in 2019 to install eavesdropping technology in North Korea. The mission was aborted after the SEALs were spotted and opened fire on a boat, killing its occupants, believed to be civilians. The Trump administration did not notify key members of Congress about this mission. Economically, August saw only 22,000 jobs created, significantly below expectations, with the unemployment rate rising to 4.3%. The black unemployment rate saw a concerning jump to 7.5%, its highest in nearly 4 years. Senator Bernie Sanders campaigned in Brooklyn with mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani, advocating against oligarchy. Meanwhile, reports suggest President Trump is attempting to influence the New York mayoral race and has considered making Mayor Eric Adams the ambassador to Saudi Arabia. Tragically, civil rights activist Joseph McNeil, a key figure in the 1960 Greensboro sit-ins, has died at 83. In academia, acclaimed psychiatrist and author Robert J. Lifton, known for his work on the effects of nuclear war and genocide, has also passed away at 99. That's a wrap on today's top stories, but before you go, a quick reminder of the crucial updates you need to know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And that's a wrap on today's Legends Nexus. We covered the intense conflict in Gaza with residential buildings being destroyed, the massive protests and arrests in London over the Palestine action ban, and President Trump's controversial threats against Chicago. We also saw global unions demanding recognition for the state of Palestine. Don't miss out on any of our critical updates. Make sure you're subscribed to Legends Nexus, hit that notification bell, leave a comment below with your thoughts, and follow us on all our social media channels.